Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Josh, and today we are taking a look at a watch that has absolutely stolen my heart and gone on the lam with it, and it is the classic Tudor Pelagos 42. Now, this beautiful thing is my husband's latest acquisition, and I have to be honest with you guys, when he first chose it, I was a little bit skeptical. I've always known that the Pelagos is a great watch, but it was always one that sort of only ever existed in the periphery for me. I have a Black Bay GMT that I love, and I have a Submariner that I also love, and so I'm a dedicated and devoted Rolex and Tudor fan. But for some reason, the Pelagos has always fallen through the gap between the two brands for me. Kind of like those small towns you pass through while on road trips, and you always say you're going to come back and explore them sometime, but never with any serious intent to actually do so. But after having now experienced the Pelagos, I can tell you that this watch is like the coolest little town that nobody knows about, that you really do need to come back and explore sometime. And in this video, I want to tell you why. Now, the very first thing that came to mind when I got to have some time with the watch away from the jewelry counter and its perfect lighting and the sales associate talking your ear off was how much this watch feels like what the Submariner should have evolved into. Which is to say that if the Sub had evolved over time with a singular focus on becoming the best possible dive watch, I think this Pelagos is what we might have ended up with. I love my current generation Submariner, and I'm a huge fan of the previous generation too, but let's be real, the Sub isn't the tool watch it was born to be and remained as for decades. I always say that the Sub and its cousin the GMT Master 2 are the Range Rovers of the watch world. They're still engineered to be capable if and when called upon for duty, but very few ever will be. You'll find most Subs in the same places you'll find most Range Rovers, at the mall, in corporate office buildings, in the school pickup line, and in the suburbs. The Pelagos, on the other hand, feels more like the Toyota 4Runner or Land Cruiser. You know that the Land Cruiser person is stealth wealth. You know that they are serious about their cars because they chose the most niche product out there, and they absolutely love it because of its niche status. And it's the same way with the Pelagos. It has that same niche but stealth wealth status to it. It's got the same vibe where when you see one, you know that the person who's wearing it knows what that product is. The Pelagos feels like it's ready to hop off the deck of a catamaran and plunge into the deep blue ocean and go diving. Everything on here is designed for the mission at hand. The titanium case and bracelet, the matte ceramic bezel, the giant square indices and stark white hands, the grippy bezel and crown. There's really, again, just nothing here that takes the Pelagos off mission. And quite honestly, the fully matte design is so refreshing compared to every other watch out there. It actually reminds me a lot of what we're seeing emerge in luxury car design vernacular. I recently bought a new Lexus, and on the inside, all of the accents are a matte silver and a very similar color, actually, to this titanium, as opposed to the bright, chromy, polished look of older cars. And I actually greatly prefer this more modern and minimalist and industrial look, both in the car and on the watch. Even without any of the glitz and glam of the Submariner, the Cerachrome, the 904L steel, the Pelagos is still a very premium, very luxurious product in its own right. In my opinion, you can still wear this in all the same ways and to all the same places you would a Sub, into the first class lounge at the airport and the 5-star hotel. And even with a suit in a pinch, I think you could do it, especially a dark gray sharkskin suit would look so good with this watch. And honestly, when you walk into a watch boutique with the Pelagos on your wrist, I almost feel like you're taken more seriously because 90% of the people who own Rolexes know nothing about them beyond their symbolism of status. Even within the Tudor brand, though, I so greatly prefer the look and feel of the Pelagos over the Black Bay. Now, I have nothing against the Black Bay, but the reason I have the GMT and not any of the more classic Black Bays is because I'm just not a fan of how ornamented they are, with their gilt markings and faux patina and the riveted bracelets that need to go back into the history books and stay there. And yes, I know I have one on the GMT too, but it's honestly my least favorite thing about it, and I wish they would just go to a more traditional oyster style bracelet like what we have on the Pelagos. I just don't like the riveted bracelets, especially because they're not actually functional the way that riveted bracelets on classic Submariners are. So again, the Pelagos, pure practicality, pure perfection in design. I absolutely love it. Now, let's talk about the fact that this watch is solid titanium. I'm sure by now a lot of you will have already written it off and left comments downstairs about how you can't have a titanium watch because it feels light and it feels cheap. And in response to that, I'll say it's because you're insecure in your masculinity and you need a big hulking stainless steel thing on your wrist to feel like a man. But let me tell you, this is the farthest thing from featherweight. In the hand, it actually doesn't even feel that much lighter than my sub. And according to the scale, it's only 12 grams lighter than the sub, which is barely anything at all. You're not going to notice 12 grams difference in the hand or on the wrist in general day-to-day wear. And then rounding out my likes, I would of course be remiss if I didn't also tell you how much I absolutely love the clasp with its spring-loaded extension system. This is the best of Rolex Glide Lock, and then some. The fact that you can flex your wrist and have actual mechanical give is huge, and essentially means you never have to actually adjust the bracelet, even on the hottest or your most bloated days. So really a lot to like with this watch. But I do have one dislike about the Pelagos, and it's this bezel. As you may know, this is the only Tudor that comes with a ceramic bezel insert, which is great. However, its markings are simply applied over top, which because of the matte finish, kind of makes it feel like it could be plastic. It's not bad by any means, but usually the benefit of having a ceramic insert over an aluminum insert is that you can engrave into ceramic without weakening the material, but that's not done here, and I'm not entirely sure why. I have a feeling the reason we don't see any engraving here has something to do with Rolex. If you really look at the design of the bezel, even down to the typography, it is almost identical to the Rolex divers. And so as odd an omission as it is, I'm guessing they wanted to save that one nice touch of engraved ceramic for the Rolexes. Now that is purely my speculation, I don't know for sure, but if you look at the entire Tudor and Rolex portfolio, the only ceramic bezels we have, with the exception of the Pelagos, are all on the Rolex side, and they all have the same treatment where the markings are engraved and then filled with platinum. And so although it feels like a cheap out, I can see when looking at the broader picture why they would take a much more cost-effective and seemingly lower grade treatment to the Pelagos. It's unfortunate though, because this is a watch without any other cheap outs except for this bezel. But even with that one little nitpick in mind, it's really hard to find fault with this watch given that it's currently under $5,000 at retail. And I say currently because I'm sure that with the next Tudor and Rolex price increase, it'll break through the $5,000 ceiling, but even if it does, this is still an absolutely incredible value. For reference, a new Seamaster 300 from Omega is now $5,600, and my Planet Ocean, which is more comparable because of its 600-meter depth rating, is now $6,700. So let me leave you with this. These are both relatively recent additions to our household, and despite the fact that the sub costs twice as much as this Pelagos, I find myself equally enamored by both of them. It's just such an incredible watch at such an incredible value from, technically, the House of Rolex, the prestige brand, at $5,000, making it really accessible, I think, to a lot of people out there. And on top of that, you don't have the wait lists and the scarce availability of Rolex. You can walk into any jewelry store for the most part, and generally speaking, they have one that you can take home that very same day. So with that, you guys know where to leave questions and comments. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and thank you guys so much for watching. It means the world to me. I will catch you guys next time. Have a great one, and take care.